Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. For those of you who are watching me for the very first time, my name is James Ambroise, and on this channel we cover how to pay off debt faster than any other debt repayment method out there. We cover basic bookkeeping and accounting for someone who just started out a small business. We cover basic personal income tax to include the Schedule C, Schedule E, depreciation. I am also the author, creator of Ambroise Method 1.0, and put that on the board. Ambroise Method 1.0, which is our basic version. Okay? Again, I'm the creator of Ambroise Method 1.0. Ambroise Method 1.0 is a revolutionary debt repayment method that offers greater results in terms of reducing interest cost compared to debt snowball, debt avalanche, velocity banking. Real quick, let me talk about some of my credentials. I have been or am a bookkeeper and accountant, QuickBooks Pro advisor, senior tax advisor, residential real estate investor, residential property manager, financial coach. And as always, before we get started with what's on the board, please allow me to shout out the name Jesus, my Lord, my God, my Creator. Thank you. All right, America, on the board, we have this hypothetical scenario of somebody who filled out one of my Microsoft Excel worksheets, and the person provided me with these figures. For debt, this person has a Wells Fargo credit card, Capital One credit card, Chase, Navy Federal. The credit limit, $5,000. The APR, 20%. Balance owed, $4,000. Monthly payments charged, that's how much they're being charged currently on the account. It's $80. Again, that number could vary, but for this given month, it's $80. Availability, America, availability is the relationship between the credit limit and the balance owed. And that relationship calls for a subtraction operation. So 5,000 minus 4,000, that's how we arrive at 1,000, okay? Credit utilization is the relationship between the balance owed and the credit limit. And that relationship calls for a division operation. 4,000 divided by 5,000, that's how we arrive at 80%, okay? Payment rates charged. Payment rates charged is the relationship between the monthly payments charged and the balance owed. And that relationship calls for a division operation. So 80 divided by 4,000, that's how we arrive at 2%, okay? So now that you fully understand what's on the board, let's move on to the next item. Cash flow, money left over, $3. So this person, after they paid off, after they have all income coming in and all expenses going out, they are left with $3, okay? Income tax refund, $10,000, okay? Person got $10,000 in the form of income tax refund that they want to pay, to use towards paying off debt, okay? Now, question posed to me was, James, is there a way that we could do better than debt snowball in terms of reducing interest cost, okay? So person likes debt snowball, we're going to start with debt snowball. Again, guys, today, this is lesson 1. Lesson 1 will be about debt snowball in our method. Lesson 2 will be about debt avalanche. Lesson 3 will be about velocity banking. And lesson 4, that's when we're going to introduce to you guys Ambroise Method 1.0. Okay? Today we're doing lesson 1. All right, but before we start with debt snowball, most of you guys are pretty familiar with debt snowball, which is to look at the lower balance and attack the lower, look at the balance and attack the lowest balance first. So I'm right here. So that's that snowball. Okay. All right. And some of you guys are pretty familiar with that avalanche, and this one is low. That avalanche that's looking at the APR, and this group wants to attack the highest APR. That avalanche. Okay. And these guys are high. Okay. We have today, I want to talk to you guys about two additional ways of paying off debt. We have the monthly payments charge. Okay, let's just go MPC, monthly payments charge. This group likes to look at the monthly payment, wants to attack the highest monthly payments charge. And finally, we have the payment rate charge. Let's just put payment rate charge. This group look at the payment rate and wants to attack the highest payment rate charge. Okay. As you can see, we have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So everybody else likes to do high, except for that snowball that likes to attack the lowest balance. So in case of payment rate charge, high payment rate. In the case of monthly payment charge, high monthly payment charge. In case of that avalanche, high APR, except for that snowball that is low balanced. Okay. So again, we have 4 of them. Okay. And we refer to these guys internally. These groups, we refer to them as grab and go methods. Okay. Now, just to be clear, that snowball official name is that snowball. That avalanche official name is that avalanche. I'm saying that internally, because of the attribute and the characteristic of just looking at one item, in the case of that snowball, look at the lower balance, okay, grab it, and cash flow, that's where you need to go, so we refer to them as grab and go. Everything else receives minimum payment. In the case of that avalanche, look at the highest APR, grab it, cash flow, that's where you need to go. Everything else receives minimum payment. So we refer to them as grab and go method, okay? Because of that simplicity of just grabbing one item and cash flow, that's where you need to go. Everybody else receives minimum payment. Grab and go methods, okay? All right, and just to be respectful, this is not the official name, guys. We just internally refer to them as grab and go method because of that one attribute or characteristic. Okay? All right. So I'll give you guys 5-10 seconds to take a look at the board real quick, and I'm coming in. All right. So let me erase some stuff from the board so we can start working with the case study. I remember the question posed to me was, James, is there a way we could do better than that snowball? So we're going to start with that snowball. Okay. Now, that snowball likes to attack the lower balance first. Remember, a person has $10,000 in the form of income tax refund that they want to use towards paying off debt. So the lowest balance is 4,000. So we have 4, 6, 10, and 18. So 4 is the lowest one, and 6 is the next lowest one. So we're gonna attack those two if we were doing that snowball. Okay. So Wells Fargo. Credit limit stays the same, 5,000. APR 20%. Balance owed 10,000. They're gonna get rid of these two. So this one, let's do one at a time. So this one, the balance will be 0. The monthly payment charge, since the balance is 0, the monthly payment charge will be 0. The availability, remember availability is credit limit minus balance owed. So 5,000 minus 0, so we have 5,000. Okay. And credit utilization. Remember, credit utilization is balance owed divided by credit limit. So 0 divided by 5,000. So we have 5,000. We had 0. And payment rate charge. Remember, payment rate charge is monthly payment charge divided by balance owed. So we had 0%. Okay. Next will be capital 1. Remember now, we were doing debt snowball. So 70 to 30. APR 24%. Balance owed. So they're going to use the remainder $6,000 to get rid of this one. So balance owed will be 0. So payment rate charge will be 0. Availability will be 72. Credit limit minus balance owed. 70 to 30 minus 0 is 70 to 30. And credit utilization is balance owed divided by credit limit. So 0 divided by 72. So we have 0. And payment rate charge is the monthly payment charge divided by balance owed. So 0. So we have 0. Okay. Next it will be Chase. Okay. So remember, they've only have $10,000 to use towards paying off debt. But for paying these two, $10,000 completely gone, completely exhausted. Okay. So now Chase, we're not gonna touch Chase. Chase gonna stay the same. Okay. At least on paper, these accounts will look something like this. 21%. 10,200 stays the same. 1364, 88%, and 2%. Okay, and we did not touch Navy Federal. Navy Federal will stay the same. Okay, 21,000, 15%, 18,540. Okay. 371, trying to get my body out of the way so you guys could kind of follow along. 2,460, 8829, and 2%. Okay. Again, guys, that snowball only got rid of these two, the 4 and the 6, because all we had was $10,000 to pay off debt. Okay, everything else stays the same. Okay. Now, that was that snowball. And how much interest was that snowball able to save for paying off the Wells Fargo? Wells Fargo was $4,000 at 20%. Just to keep math simple, we're going to compute the interest over the course of 1 year, just to keep math simple. So we got 4,000 at 20% to see how much interest they were able to save by getting rid of Wells Fargo. 20% to zeros. Let's see. 20, 0, 2 times 20%, 0, 0 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 4 is 8. So we got $800. And that snowball was also, and they got the $80 in the process, because now once this account is down to 0, the monthly payment is gone. So now cash flow got increased by $80. Okay, and that snowball also got rid of this account. Okay, so that's $6,000 at 24%. Okay, so we got $6,000 times 24%. So we have 6,000 times 24. We had 1440. Okay. So in total, they were able to save 1440 plus $800. mistake somewhere. 6,000 times 24%, 1440. So in total, I'm sorry, 1440 plus 800, we had 2240. Okay, and interest savings. All right, and go down 20%, 6,000 times 24%, 1440 plus 800 bucks. All right, perfect, 2240. And here, for getting rid of capital one, they were able to garner or get back this cash flow, which is 120. So in total, okay, so cash flow will be increased by 80 and 120 by 200 bucks. Okay? So that was that snowball. So an interest savings, if we were computing over the course of 1 year, would have been 2,240. And as far as cash flow or money left over, this will get increased by 200 bucks. So it'll go from $3 to 203. Okay. Now remember, the question that was posed to us was, is there a way we could do better than that snowball in terms of reducing interest cost? Okay. Now, earlier we talked about 4 different grab and go methods. Okay. The debt snowball, the debt avalanche, the monthly payment charge, and the payment rate charged. Okay. Our method usually look at the APR first. Okay. So, and depends what we see with the APR, then we looked at the payment rate charge second. Okay. Depends what we see is going on. Sometimes we look at the monthly payment charge third. Okay? Alright. But mostly we concentrate on these two, primarily on the APR, and secondarily the payment rate charge. Remember, earlier I talked to you guys about 4 grab and go methods. Okay? So if we're looking at the APR first, then the highest APR we see is capital 1. So we're here now. Capital 1. And the next highest APR, 2021-15, is this one, Chase. Okay. So in our case, we're going to attack these two instead. But before we do all that, let me introduce to you guys one new terminology. It's called Ambroise partitioning a balance. Okay? Ambroise is partitioning a balance. What is Ambroise partitioning a balance? Ambroise partitioning a balance, America, is to divide the balance into at least 2 separate parts, where one of the part will equal the other account we're trying to compare it to. So whenever we're having trouble in figuring out which debt to pay off first, okay, we like to bring them to an apple-to-apple level, okay, so we have an apple-to-apple comparison, okay. For example, if we were partitioning the $10,000, for example, $10,000 would be $4,000 plus $6,000. That would be the $10,000 we're talking about in the case of Chase, okay? $10,000 will be $10,000 at 21%, which is the same as $4,000 as 21% and $6,000 as 21%. Okay? Where am I? Okay, I'm right here. So, which is the same, let's do 10,000 at 21. We know 10,000 at 21 should be 21 0, 0, 0, 0, so we add 2 zeros. Okay, 2100. 4,000 at 21%, so it will be 4,000 times 21% is 840, and 6,000 at 21% is 1260. Okay, and again, guys, Ambroise partitioning a balance is to divide the balance into two separate parts. 1, 2. So we're partitioning the 10,000. Divided into two separate parts. 1, 2. Where one of the part, 4,000, will equal the other account we're trying to compare it to. So we're trying to compare it with Wells Fargo. So this is Chase. Okay. This is Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo, $4,000. Well, we have 20%. Okay. So if we partition in the bigger balance, which is Chase, $10,000, and this is how we break it down. Okay. 4,006 is $10,000. Okay. So 840 plus 1260 is the same as 2100, because if you add 840 plus 1260, you're gonna get 2100. Okay, that is Ambroise's partitioning a balance. Okay, is to break down the balance into two parts, where one of the part will equal the other account we're trying to compare it to. Now, if we have $4,000 at 20%, and we also have $4,000 at 21%. So which one would you rather pay first? We have 4,000, 20%. We have 4,000, 21%. Okay? So you would rather pay the 4,000 with 21%. So that's why after we pay off the 6,000, okay, if you know, we'll be better off paying off, making a partial payment to the Chase for the remainder 4,000 instead of paying off this 4,000, because we're gonna go a different route than that Snowball goes. Okay. So I just wanted to quickly bring that to your attention. So let me go ahead and erase the board. All right. And again, that was Ambroise's partitioning a balance. All right. So now that we've determined which account to pay off first, okay. So we've already said that we're not going to touch the Wells Fargo, because the Wells Fargo one will not give us the greater results in terms of interest savings. So we're going to leave Wells Fargo alone, okay? 20%. So Wells Fargo stays the same because we're not going to touch it at all. Monthly payment stays the same. Availability stays the same. Credit utilization. Okay, we're working off the original example. Okay, guys, not this example. This example is that Snowball. Okay, payment rate charge is 2%. Okay. All right. Now we did say we're going to touch with that 10,000. We're going to touch capital 1. So capital 1. 7230. Okay. APR 24%. Again, we're working off the original example. Okay. Balance owed. Remember, we have $10,000 to get rid of that. So now this $6,000 will be gone for $0. The monthly payment charge. So since the balance is 0, the monthly payment will be 0, at least on paper. Okay. The availability. Remember, availability is credit limit minus balance owed, so 7230 minus 0, so we had 7230. Okay, and credit utilization is balance owed divided by credit limit, so 0 divided by 7230, we had 0. Payment rate charge is monthly payment charge divided by balance owed, so 0 divided by 0, so we had 0%. Okay, and next we have Chase. Again, guys, we're working off the original example. credit limit was 11,364. 11,364. Okay, APR 21%. Okay. Balance owed, now it was 10,000, so we're sending 4,000 to it, so now we're left with 6,000. Because remember, we have 10,000 to pay off debt. Okay. So we paid the first one 6, so we had 4 left. 10 minus the 4, we're down with 6. Okay. Monthly payments charge, remember it was 2%, so 6 times 2%, so 0, 2% to 0, 612, so 120. Availability is credit limit minus balance owed, so 11,364 minus 6, 11 into 6, so we're down with 5,364. Okay, credit utilization is the balance owed divided by credit limit. So let's see what we got. 6,000 divided by 11,364. Okay, 52. Guys, as you can see, I like to work this example. I like to start from scratch. I don't like to put too much stuff on the board. That will give you guys an opportunity to do the exercise with me together. Okay, at least that's my style. Okay, and the payment rate charge will be 2%. Because remember, payment rate charge is monthly payment charge, which is 120, divided by balance owed, which is 6,000. Okay, so down to 2%. Okay, so we touched this one. We touched this one. So Navy Fed. I hope I did not make any mistake. 21,000. We did not touch Navy Federal, so Navy Federal stays the same. Okay. 371. From the original example, 2160. 88, 29%, and 2%. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So now let's see how much money we're able to save. So we got rid of Capital One. Capital One was 6,000 at 24%. So 6,000 times 24%. And so is I did that already earlier. 1440. Okay, just to keep math simple, guys, we're computing over the course of 1 year. And for Chase, we did not pay off Chase completely. We've only made a partial payment to Chase. So $4,000. So we saved the 4 at 21%. Okay. So let's do $4,000 America times 21%. We got 840. All right. So now we have 1440 plus 840. So we're at 2280. That's if we're interest savings, if we're computing over the course of 1 year. Now, in terms of cash flow, what were we able to do in terms of cash flow? Capital One got paid off completely. Capital One minimum payment was to 120, so we gained that 120 in cash flow. Okay. And the next item was Chase, because we've only touched Capital One and Chase. Capital One went to 0, so we get that 120 back. Chase went from 10,000 to 6. Okay, so that was a partial payment, but the monthly payment went from $200 to $120. You see Chase. Okay, Chase. So 200 minus 120 is $80. Okay, So in total, we have $200 and cash flow gains. Okay, so our cash flow went up, is increased by $200. Originally it was $3. Okay, so now we have $200 additional for a total of 203. Okay, all right. Now on the interest side, on the cash flow side, real quick, looks like they are the same, 200, 200. Why? Because the payment rate was the same. But on the cash flow side, on the interest savings side, 2240 and 2280. So let's see, 2280 minus 2240 looks like $40. Okay. 04800. Okay, $40. 2280 minus 2240. All right. So here, if we go that route, we're able to do better than that snowball in terms of interest savings, okay? Interest cost savings. They have 2240, we have 2280, okay? So we're able to save $40 more than that snowball. On the cash flow side, it's a tie. $200, $200, okay? All right, America, I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at the board, and then I'm coming in. All right, so the next item we're going to talk about is the snowball effect. Okay? Now, for some of you guys who are writing articles on social media, okay, every once in a while I've noticed you guys making a mistake and referring to the so-called snowball effect as if you have to completely pay off an account, okay, in order to achieve snowball effect. And I've created this example on purpose to show you guys that you do not have to completely pay off an account completely, okay? In the case of that snowball, they paid off 2 accounts. They were able to achieve $200 in additional cash flow. Here, we paid off 1 account and we partially paid another account. We were still able to achieve the same cash flow gains, $200. You see that? $200, $200. These folks, they paid 2 accounts off completely. Here, we pay 1 account off and partially pay another account. Okay? So just to prove to you guys, you do not, if it's 2 revolving accounts, 2 revolving credit accounts, you do not necessarily have to pay off another account completely in order to achieve the so-called snowball effect. Okay? You see, in both scenarios, here, cash flow got increased by $200. Here, okay, cash flow also got increased by $200. Okay? So, snowball effect is achieved whether you pay 1 account off completely or you pay other account off partially. If it's both revolving credit accounts, as you bring down the balance, well, the payment gonna go down. Okay? We know once the payment go down, what happened to cash flow? Cash flow goes up. Okay? Now that would have been different if one was a revolving, the other one was an installment credit, because we know with installment credit account, you have to completely wipe out the balance, okay, in order to start taking advantage, to start enjoying, okay, the monthly minimum payment, okay? But this is not the case here. You know, everything on the board are revolving credit account, credit card, credit card, credit card, credit card, credit card, credit card. As you pay down a credit card, okay, monthly payment will go down and cash flow will go up, okay? All right, so that's it for the next item we're gonna talk about, gonna be our observation. Again, I'll give you guys another 5-10 seconds to take a look at the board before I start erasing some stuff from the board, and so we can continue the exercise. Okay. All right. start erasing some stuff. And that'll be our observation session. Okay. And again, guys, lesson 1 that we're doing right now is about dead snowball. Lesson 2 that will be coming up maybe in a few days will be about dead avalanche. Lesson 3 will be about velocity banking. And lesson 4 will be about our method, Ambroise Method 1.0. Okay? And the way I prefer it, I want you guys to watch lesson 1. Once I have all these lessons done, I want you guys to watch lesson 1 before you watch lesson 2. Lesson 2 before you watch lesson 3, and so on. Okay? So our observation with that snowball. Okay? And we also have that avalanche. Okay. We have velocity banking. And then we have Ambroise Method 1.0, which is our basic version. Okay. That snowball, our observation. So by the way, that's in lesson 1, like I said, lesson 2, lesson 3, and lesson 4. Okay. That snowball only uses cash flow. That avalanche, we're not there yet, but real quick, we know that avalanche only uses cash flow. Okay. Velocity banking, we're not there yet because that's in lesson 3. But velocity banking is about cash flow. And these guys also chunk, what they call chunk. And these guys also use what they call a dead weapon. Okay. And Ambroise Method 1.0, we have, for our method, we have 2 type of users. We have a user that we call normal user. That's a user that's not comfortable in using an alternative account yet. Okay? So these people just want to use their regular checking and savings account, so we call them a normal user. Then we had an advanced user. An advanced user, that's someone who is pretty comfortable with an alternative account. Okay? And so instead of using their checking account, their savings account, they use an alternative account to pay off debt. And we refer to these folks as advanced users, like I said. Okay? So here in our method, we'll do transfers. Okay? And we have, different type of transfers. We have a normal transfer. We have what we call, move my body out the way, we have what we call artificial type transfer. That is one when we employed Ambroise's charge pay technique. Okay. Nobody in America is doing this, guys, as of right now. Okay. Normal. Then we have Ambroise's. Okay. Our method is very aggressive when it comes to paying off debt. Okay. We like to say that these other methods like to toy with the debt. They like to play with the debt. Here, over at Ambroise Method 1.0, we aggressively go after the debt and get rid of the thing, okay? Inducement. Okay. We also have plastic, melio, however you say that, or similar entities. And we have mix and match. And we'll go over all of this in a second. And we repeat. Okay? And for alternative accounts, so we have 1, 2, 3. So one alternative account, 2 alternative accounts, 3 alternative accounts. Okay, simultaneously. So that's using 2 accounts at the same time, America. Okay. Simultaneously. Okay. This is in our basic version 1.0. To alternative account basic version 1.0. This one's going to be in our advanced version 2.0. Okay, and just like everybody else, we also use cash flow. Okay. All right. Let's see. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. Now, since we're on lesson 1. Let's talk about debt snowball. Remember, debt snowball, America only uses cash flow or money left over or extra payment. Okay, these guys, because the main the main fixation is on the lower balance. So obviously they will not pay too much attention with the highest APR. Okay, so since they only use cash flow and they only want to attack the lowest balance, so they will completely ignore the higher APR. So this group is not concerned with higher APR, higher interest rate accounts. Okay, and as you could see, since they're only using cash flow, this group is not taking advantage of different types of balance transfers. Okay, and by the way, these transfers are between current existing accounts. We're not talking about debt consolidations, guys. We're talking about between the existing account that you already have. Okay, between current. We don't want you to go out there and start applying for new account. That's not what we're talking about. Same account that you already have, those are the ones that we're working with. In current existing accounts. Okay. All right. And obviously they're not taking advantage of, they don't utilize alternative account. Okay. Okay. And we use cash flow just like they do. Just like you could see. Okay. All right. Those guys, all they're doing is cash flow. You can't go too far, okay, and eliminate that if you're only using cash flow, okay? Okay. Look how many different things we're trying to do. I told you we do have a very aggressive method trying to get rid of this debt as fast as we can, aggressively go after it. We don't like to play with it. We don't like to toy with the debt. We like to try to get rid of the debt. On lesson 2, when we'll be talking about that avalanche, same thing. Just like that snowball, they only use cash flow. That's not gonna get the job done, guys. Just using cash flow. Not in this modern age, okay? Velocity banking, okay? These guys, they're doing a little bit more than that snowball, a little bit more than that avalanche, but sometimes the result is the same as that snowball, that avalanche, okay? So that means they are doing something wrong, at least some of them, okay? So velocity banking like to chunk, okay? And they only do one chunk at a time, okay? Here, we'll do transfers. Look at how many different ways we're trying to transfer. And real quick, let's talk about this transfer. A normal transfer is a transfer between same account type. Okay? Once we get to lesson 4, I'll break it down even more. But real quick, same account type, a normal transfer. That means a revolving account against another revolving account. Artificial type of transfer, remember I told you guys, it's a transfer when you utilize a technique that I call Ambroise's charge pay technique. That's when you're making transfers between current existing account where you pay $0 in balance transfer fees. Okay? In other words, you do not utilize the bank to do balance transfer fee. To do balance transfer. You do your own balance transfer and it costs you nothing. So essentially, you fire the big bank, the big creditors. You don't need them to use them to do balance transfers, okay? Okay. Now, to the extent that you can now, okay, you don't need them, you could still execute your own balance transfer without needing the bank, the big creditor to do a balance transfer for you, okay? And this is good stuff, man. Once we get to that lesson, I'll show you guys how to do it. And this one is the normal one. That doesn't cost you any fees. Then we have Ambroise's charge pay technique, another variation of it, but this one is inducement. So that one will cost you something, okay? So understand though, the bank, the big creditors usually charge you 3% to 5%, at least in 2023, to do a balance transfer, okay? Here, we're trying to do a balance transfer with amongst ourselves, okay, or amongst our friends, okay, for less than 3 to 5%. Because if the bank is doing 3 to 5, okay, so we want to do something that's going to cost us less than 3 to 5. So maybe, I don't know, anywhere between 0.01 to maybe 2.99 maybe, okay? That's less than 3%, that's less than 5%, okay? So anywhere between these ranges, okay? 299, okay? That will be lower than what the big bank, the big creditors are charging us. In other times when we cannot do Ambroise charge pay technique normal, nor we could do Ambroise charge pay technique inducement, we might employ plastic, Melio, or similar entities to do our balance transfers, okay? And after all that's done, guess what? We repeat, to the extent that we can, we're trying to repeat the process of transferring again. So we don't do one transfer like those folks over at Velocity Banking is trying to do or is doing. We're trying to do more than one transfer. As you could see, again, I told you that method is very aggressive. So we try to attack the debt different ways, trying to save on interest cost different ways, okay? So now let's move down to alternative account. These guys using a debt weapon. We use alternative account. Sometimes they use one. We use one. Other times they use two. But the way they use it is a problem, and I'll be able to prove that to you guys down the road. I believe on lesson 5 or lesson 6, I don't remember. And this is a revolutionary right here. Sometimes we use 3 alternative accounts simultaneously, so at the same time. Okay? Nobody in America is using 3 alternative accounts at the same time. Nobody. And this is part of our more advanced version, Ambroise Method 2.0. Okay? Alright? Again, nobody in the world is using 3 alternatives, or at least in America. Well, probably in the world is using 3 alternative accounts. Okay? And we're also using cash flow just like everybody else is using cash flow. Okay? So look at the graph. Look at how skinny those guys are. Okay? Cash flow only, trying to do more, but attempted to do more, but here we're really doing more. Okay? As you can see, our method is filled with numerous strategies and techniques, okay, in order to get rid of the debt, to save money at multiple different places. Okay, so we want to work harder on the debt. We're trying to overwhelm the debt, if that's even a thing. Okay, because we're trying to do more to get rid of the debt. Very aggressive method. Okay, trying to get rid of the debt, any opportunity that we get. Alright guys, on the next lesson, like I mentioned earlier, lesson 2, we'll cover debt avalanche. Again, my name is James Ambroise. I am the author, creator of Ambroise Method 1.0, our basic version. Ambroise Method 1.0 is a revolutionary debt repayment method that offers greater results in terms of reducing interest cost compared to debt snowball. Okay, and that internally we refer to as a grab and go method. Debt avalanche, internally we refer to as a grab and go method. Velocity banking, this group attempt to use chunk and debt weapon and cash flow, but the way they go about it is kind of wrong, especially in the case of when they have a home equity line of credit and credit card. Okay, they usually want to run everything through the home equity line of credit, which is a mistake, because we know that a home equity line of credit interest rate is considerably lower than the interest rate on a credit card. Okay? And sometimes they want to use an ELOC to pay a personal loan. This could also be another mistake if the interest rate on the personal loan is considerably higher than the interest rate on the ELOC. Okay? And again, down the road, bear with me, down the road, I'll be able to prove all these things. I don't want to throw all those different techniques and strategies at you guys all at once, so I kind of want to break it down by lessons. Okay, so I'm coming, so bear with me just a little bit. Okay, all right guys, next time when we meet again, we're gonna go over debt avalanche. All right, America, until next time, good morning.